Here's what's coming up on Network Africa. At least 8 people killed following a huge explosion at the main oil refinery in the capital, Conakry. Vote counting underway in Chad after a controversial referendum poll on a new constitution. Plus, presidential candidates in the Democratic Republic of Congo's election hold their final campaign rally. Hello and welcome to the program this week. I'm Layo Olarinde. Vote counting is underway in Chad after polls closed on Sunday in a controversial referendum on a new constitution. Chadian authorities say that the voter turnout was satisfactory, but the vote is seen as an important step in the transition to constitutional rule next year, but it has been widely perceived as an attempt by the military-led government to consolidate power. Well, this is coming after more than a year of brutal crackdowns against pro-democracy protesters. Some opposition parties and civil society organizations had called for a boycott of the referendum, citing a lack of transparency and fairness in the process. Well, provisional results are expected to be announced on the 24th of December, with the Supreme Court due to validate them 4 days later. In the meantime, Sudan's Foreign Affairs Ministry has ordered 3 Chadian diplomats to leave the country within 72 hours in retaliation for a similar move by Chad. Chad's government had on Saturday declared 4 Sudanese diplomats attached to Sudan's embassy in N'Djamena as persona non grata and ordered their exit from the country within 72 hours. Well, it made the decision after 2 Sudanese officials accused Chad's government of interfering in the ongoing conflicts in Khartoum by supporting the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces (RSF). A spokesperson of Chad's government was quoted as saying that the recurrence of statements by Sudanese authorities with regards to Chad and its government is simply not acceptable, hostile, and masks a hidden agenda. Well, in South Africa, former President Jacob Zuma says he will remain a member of the African National Congress ANC, but will vote for a new political party, Umkhonto we Sizwe (MK), next year. Mr. Zuma announced this over the weekend while addressing the media and his supporters in Orlando East, Soweto. Umkhonto we Sizwe is the name of the ANC's former military wing formed by President Nelson Mandela back in 1961. Well, our South Africa correspondent, Innocent Samosa, brings us more details in this report.
Walking a new political path, former President Jacob Zuma is backing the newly registered party Umkhonto we Sizwe in the upcoming national elections as his first step in revitalizing the ANC. His daughter, Duduzile Zuma, read out a statement at the briefing on behalf of the former statesman.
I have decided that I cannot and will not campaign for the ANC of Ramaphosa. My conscience will not allow me to lie to the people of South Africa and to pretend that the ANC of Ramaphosa is the ANC of Lutuli, Tambo, and Mandela.
Zuma also urged other ANC members to vote for Umkhonto we Sizwe.
People who are in charge of the ANC today, who are giving instructions, who are doing everything, they will claim this is our organization. We are not elected. So we don't want that war. We are now, we've introduced MK to come back as a party so that we vote, don't move away from the ANC.
Some say Ramaphosa's government has failed the people of South Africa.
I mean, the country is going down under the leadership of President Ramaphosa. So why I'm saying that, as the Archbishop of the Church, lots of people coming to church, they don't come to church because they want to go to heaven. All of them, they come to our churches. Our churches are full than before because people want a better life.
The liberation movement, which is the ANC, is losing power. So we are here to listen to Obaba Ubaba Msholozi, Jacob Zuma, who is also not a member of the ANC, but the former president of the Republic.
Meanwhile, President Ramaphosa says the work will continue with or without Jacob Zuma.
We will continue doing the work. And I have said very, very vocally and openly, I am going to be in the campaign. I'm going to be in every street, in every village. That is what I am going to do.
While the divisions in the African National Congress continues, Zuma remained mum about his role within Umkhonto weSizwe, saying more would be revealed in the new year. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Innocent Simosa, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, a faction of South Africa's Zulu royal family has accused President Cyril Ramaphosa of meddling in the family's affairs and fueling divisions days after the president said he would appeal against the court's decision invalidating his coronation of Zulu King Misuzulu Kazwelithini. Prince Thokozani Zulu, a supporter of the king's half-brother, Prince Sikamade Zulu, says that President Ramaphosa's conduct had foiled any possible attempt to engage with the new king. He also accused Mr. Ramaphosa of taking sides in the family succession feud. Prince Sikakade and King Misuzulu, who was officially crowned king by President Ramaphosa last year, have been battling for the throne since the 2021 death of their father, King Goodwill Zwelithini. Militant Islamists linked to Al-Qaeda have freed a South African paramedic taken hostage in Libya more than 6 years ago. Charity group Gift of the Giver said it had facilitated the unconditional release of Gerko van de Venter, describing him as the longest-held South African hostage. He was seized by an unnamed group in Libya back in 2017 and sold to Islamist militants in Mali a year later, and then released into Algeria. Well, large parts of Libya have been lawless since NATO-backed forces overthrew and killed long-serving ruler Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. While Mali is battling an Islamist insurgency and a rebellion by separatist forces in the north. Well, Gift of the Givers is a South African-based charity, and they say Algeria's security agencies had taken the man to hospital for a checkup following his release. We head now to Guinea, where at least 8 people have lost their lives and 84 others injured in the capital, Conakry, following an explosion at the main oil terminal in the Kaloum neighborhood. Reports say the explosion occurred in the early hours of Monday, shortly after midnight, and accompanied by fire. Videos show a huge fire and billowing black smoke, even as firefighters rush to the area while several tanker trucks leave the depot escorted by soldiers and police. According to officials, the fire has been contained and authorities have ordered schools in the city to close, urging workers to stay at home. Eyewitnesses say the explosion blew off roofs and windows from buildings in the area, causing significant damage and forcing several people to flee. Guinea is not an oil producer and has no oil refining capacity. It imports refined products which are mostly stored in the Kaloum terminal and distributed via trucks across the country. Joining us now for more details on this story is Yusuf Ba, Ghanaian journalist in Conakry. Hello, Yusuf. Thank you for joining us on the program. It's quite a fiery way to start the week in Guinea this week with this unfortunate explosion. What is the update on this incident?
Thank you very much for inviting me to your program. As of now, as I'm talking to you, we still have fire. The fire still continue. And an American company called Refugee, one of the largest bauxite company in the region, have sent their firefighters with about 7 trucks to help the government to put off the fire. And we understand shortly also from the government that Sierra Leone and Mali are sending firefighters to come and help to put off the fire. There is still a very big fire, and several people have been killed. or dead. I will not tell you the exact number of people that have died from this particular incident because nobody knows exactly how many people died because it happens at night. And don't forget, it's a weekend. People move from one area from one nightclub to another nightclub. So, and this is a very busy road also at night. And it's the main road leading to the presidential palace, about 1,000 yards to the presidential palace.
Well, have authorities been able to get more details, perhaps, on what led to the blast?
The authorities haven't said anything yet. They've just issued a press release asking students to stay home, asking fuel station dealers to close their station. Actually, according to eyewitnesses who live around this area, who survived from the scene, they said late midnight, they saw something like a fire or something drop from up into the fuel depot. And from there was an explosion. But the government haven't given any details on this. This is just witnesses as journalists who have been interviewed around. It's very, very complicating as of now to say this is exactly what happened. Even the damage, we cannot give a rough estimate of what is happening. But what I can tell you, the damage is too much, and the fuel depot is right in center Conakry. And even where we're having the judgment of the 28th September killing, there was impact in the building. Windows, doors were all smashed. And this is very close, about 3 years to the presidential palace and the central prison, where you have the former junta leaders in prison. So, all these things, you should look at this. So it's very, very difficult to give exact what is happening or to say this is exactly the result or this is what is the consequence or what happened. I will not tell you exact, but as of now, the fire is still going on. The government is struggling to put out this fire.
All right, and you mentioned that, schools have been ordered shut and workers have been urged to stay at home. How are Guineans, reacting to this?
Well, actually, don't forget, Guineans live by what they earn by day. And the poverty rate is high in some extent. And illiteracy also is high to some extent. You have several schools around the fuel depot and in center town. And Guinea, the only area in Amville, the Kaloum, where we call Kaloum, is where they have their administrative town. So all government workers are supposed to enter to town to work. And it's only one road that leads to the main city. And it's only one road also where you have this fire. So because of this, government has to issue a press release to advise people to stay home. Because people cannot come to work because the fire is right in front of them on the road leading to town. So I think these are some of the reasons why the government decided to pass this press release so that people will not go to school. But the town is empty. People are worried. And now government have issued a press release saying that even fuel stations should close till further notice. So it means there is no fuel. And there was a boat that was supposed to deliver fuel yesterday night. But according to source, the boat could not coast to the Guinean port. So we don't know exactly how that information is true or not. But if this happens, and with this, there's a very big consequence in this. Guinea is struggling with its economy. And if this happens, boats will not come in, flight will not come in. If at all there is no fuel, the plane fuel, if we don't have it, all this there will be an impact. And electricity, we have been getting series of power cuts. So if this happens, then we will not get enough supply, maybe from the Feud mining company who will get fuel from them to give electricity. So it's very difficult at this moment. And people are worried about the future of the country. And I can assure you the country has returned backward.
All right, then. Thank you so much, Yusuf Ba, Guinean journalist. Thank you so much for your reporting.
Thank you very much.
Still to come on the program. For a record 16th time, Channels Television wins the Nigeria Media Merit Award for Television Station of the Year. More details after the break. Please join us again. Welcome back to the program. Campaigns for the Democratic Republic of Congo's elections are due to end today, 2 days before voters go to the polls. Insecurity, health, and education are among the key issues that have dominated campaigns as the country gears up for the vote. Well, it's unclear whether the elections will take place in the restive east, where dozens of armed groups are active. The government is using aircraft from the Congolese army, Egyptian army, and UN peacekeeping force MONUSCO to deploy the remaining election materials.
As Democratic Republic of Congo gears up for the December 20th elections, the opposition and independent observers warn that issues including illegible voter cards, blocked campaign planes, and electoral list delays threaten the legitimacy of the results. For months, the CENI Election Commission has rejected criticism in its failing to deliver a free and fair vote as promised, even as it flags logistical setbacks rolling out the presidential and legislative ballot across Africa's second-largest country. Tensions have escalated in the final weeks of campaigning, challengers to President Felix Tshisekedi crying foul over an allegedly uneven playing field. On Saturday, thousands gathered in Lubumbashi to attend presidential candidate Moise Katumbi's final rally ahead of the presidential vote. In 2018, Moise Katumbi was prevented from entering the country in time to submit his candidacy for the presidential election. But this time, his chances have been boosted by the backing of 3 candidates that have dropped out of the race. Thousands of people also attended opposition candidate Martin Fayulu's final campaign rally in Kinshasa. The 67-year-old former oil executive and leader of the Engagement for Citizenship and Development Party came second to President Felix Tshisekedi in 2018. But Fayulu claims he won with over 62% of the vote and challenged the results in court. However, incumbent President Tshisekedi is seeking a second term in office. The son of long-term opposition leader Etienne Tshisekedi had on taking office promised to root out corruption and authoritarian rule, rebuild the economy, tackle inequalities, and deal with Congo's prolonged security crisis. But critics say he has fallen short on these issues. Almost 44 million people are registered to vote in an election that will determine whether incumbent President Felix Tshisekedi will remain in office.
Over the weekend, re-elected President of Madagascar, Andry Rajoelina, was sworn in, pledging to lead the country to build a stronger and more prosperous nation. Well, during his national address at the inauguration ceremony in Barrier Stadium in the capital, he promised to lead the country with determination and to work for its development. He was declared on December 1st by the High Constitutional Court as winner of the November 16 presidential election with 58.96% of the votes. Well, in his speech, Mr. Rajoelina mentioned 3 pillars: human capital, industrialization, and governance, as part of his program for the next 5 years, aiming at producing and transforming locally the daily needs of the population. Well, Kenya and the European Union have signed a major economic partnership agreement, EPA, that is expected to guarantee the East African country duty-free and unlimited access for select products into the EU, its biggest export market. Kenyan President William Ruto and EU Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen were present at the signing ceremony in Nairobi, even as the Kenyan Minister of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs and Spanish Secretary of State for Trade put pen to paper. Well, Kenya is required to reciprocate by gradually opening its market to EU products. The EU is Kenya's leading export destination and second largest trading partner, totaling about 3.3 billion euros of trade in 2022. And that's an increase of 27% compared to 2018. Well, both the EU and Kenyan parliaments will have to ratify the deal to bring it into effect.
Today's agreement heralds a new era where Kenyan goods gain immediate and permanent duty and quota-free access to the European market.
The agreement will usher in the era of blended opportunities, with the EAC, COMESA, and ACFTA mechanisms supporting attractive investment potential. I am particularly happy that this agreement we are signing today leaves the door open, and I say wide open, for our EAC partners to join into this agreement so that together as a region we can benefit from the economies of scale, and Europe can equally benefit from the economies of scale in our part of the world.
Then, as you said, President Ruto, the agreement is open to the other states of the Eastern African community. And this makes Kenya a trendsetter, a pioneer. You're showing how to move forward. We encourage the other Eastern African countries to join this economic partnership agreement. They can only benefit from the regional integration. And of course, it is here in the region important also amongst yourselves to open the markets.
Financial commitments totaling over $2.2 billion has been announced at the second Global Refugee Forum held in Geneva by governments, the private sector, philanthropies, and foundations. Well, the just concluded meeting brought the international community together in solidarity with refugees for 3 days with a range of pledges to improve the lives of the world's refugees and the countries and communities that host them.
4 years ago, we had only 70 participants in the Global Refugee Forum. But today, there are more than 300 participants. And we have still a long way to go. But I think that this is a progress, and I hope that it continues being this way.
The state of the world requires a reboot of humanity and energy to meet the challenges before us, including that of forced displacement. And as long as displacement and other humanitarian crises persist, we need an equally large, sustained, and urgent influx of humanitarian resources. Humanitarian agencies and NGOs, dear friends, are facing severe funding shortfalls and must be supported to scale up, not down, their responses around the world to save lives, and also to be able to implement the very work which you have pledged to make happen over the past few days.
It's a forum that brings together multi-stakeholders, including refugee-led organizations and refugees, to come up with solutions, discuss issues affecting refugees, and coming with strategies for the next 4 years.
Every December 18th is International Migrants Day, and the International Organization for Migration says it aims to position migration as one of the solutions to global challenges, such as adapting the impacts of climate change or providing better economic opportunities for communities. Well, according to the organization's Deputy Director General of Operations, Ugochi Daniels, the IOM firmly believes that well-managed migration is the foundation for sustainable development and prosperity for all.
In a world where we are witnessing an ending crisis, IOM firmly believes that well-managed migration is a foundation for sustainable development and prosperity for all, and we're here to help member states achieve this objective. And crucially, this fund includes human mobility in its scope of action. This means that we will have the opportunity to develop activities that help migrants, displaced people and their host communities on the front line of the climate crisis. Saving lives will always be our priority, but we need to think long-term and develop solutions that will ensure people have safe and dignified options decades from now. And to achieve this goal, we have to start working now.
The winner of the NBC Prize for Television Station of the Year 2023 goes to...
And the winner is Channel TV. Channel TV. Channel TV.
Channels Television continues its tradition of excellence, maintaining its position as Africa's most awarded TV station after winning the Nigeria Media Merit Award Television Station of the Year for the record 16th time. At a ceremony marking its 31st anniversary in Lagos, the NMMA announced Channels Television as the best TV station in Nigeria, a record no other TV station in the country comes close to. While various awards were also handed in multiple categories to other media houses, with the Punch newspaper and The Nation coming out tops in the print category. Or also in the broadcast category, the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, clinched the NBC prize for Radio Station of the Year. The criteria for the award includes the level of adherence to the rules of regulatory bodies, the percentage of local content, response to financial obligations internally and to regulatory bodies, quality of programming and transmission, objectivity, fairness, and balance. All Channels Television trounced Arise TV, TVC, and many others to clinch the prestigious award this year. Well, congratulations to the team. And that's all we have for you on Network Africa for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde.